Hi guys, we're in a different spot today. We're actually in my bed. I just felt like this was a video that needed to be shot while I'm just kind of chill. It doesn't feel so much like an interview. It feels like I'm just relaxing and having a chat with a friend. And that's what you guys are. You guys are my friends. So, we're having a chat about sexuality. This is a video that I've wanted to make for a while now. 2 years ago, I just basically told everybody on Facebook that I was part of the LGBTQ community. I still have moments where I'm like, am I a part of the LGBTQ community or am I not? When I googled the definition of what sexuality is, a couple things popped up. So the first thing that popped up is the capacity for sexual feelings. The second thing that came up was a person's sexual orientation or preference. Now, ironically, the first definition is actually more applicable to me than the second one, the capacity for sexual feelings. Now, when I was younger, I used to find guys attractive. And I think I've come to find out that it was more of a romantic attraction than it was a sexual attraction, obviously, because I was like 10 and they were all guys that I had gotten to know over the years. So I had this kind of, somewhat emotional bond with them in some way or form. Even if I wasn't close with them, I had formed some kind of bond with them. I have been single for the majority of my life. I've only had one boyfriend, and that was when I was like 14 or 15, and it was only for 6 months. So that really doesn't count for much. And for a really long time, I thought, what is wrong with me? There has to be something wrong with me. Now, there have been multiple chances for me to be in a relationship or to have sex, but I haven't been interested in either of those. I was questioning why that was, and for a really long time, because I felt so different than my peers and felt like I didn't quite belong because I didn't experience things the same way that they did, I turned to the internet, as most people do who feel alone. And this is when I stumbled into pansexuality. So that kind of started to, get the ball rolling in my mind of, maybe I'm not entirely like everybody else. So that was my introduction into the world of a label, the introduction to there being more than just gay, straight, and bi. I don't like labels because it feels too definite, and I feel like I have to choose a label that's going to fit for the rest of my life, and it's not the easiest thing to do when sexuality is so fluid. It wasn't until I was about 19, I want to say, or 20, that I actually found a term that fits me. I stumbled upon the term demisexuality. The prefix of demi derives from the Latin demidium, meaning divided in half. Demisexual comes from the concept being described as halfway between being sexual and asexual. Now, demisexuality is something that is super misunderstood in a lot of different ways. The definition of demisexuality is that you don't experience sexual attraction to anyone unless you have a close emotional bond with them. Now, the common misconception of demisexuality is that, oh, everybody is like that. Nobody wants to have sex unless there's that emotional bond, and people want that emotional bond before they have sex. That's not what it is. I literally cannot and do not feel sexually attracted to someone unless I have that emotional connection first. And even if I find somebody, which is rare, attractive, I don't feel the need to act on it. Ever. Now, an emotional connection means something different to everyone, obviously. But the basic definition is a set of feelings that come together to create a bond between two people. And there's no criteria on what an emotional bond is and how emotionally bonded you have to be to someone before you feel sexually attracted to them. It is different for everybody. And that's why it was so hard for me to conceptualize demisexuality, because sexuality is so fluid. It's not possible for me to feel sexually attracted to someone that I don't know, because we don't have that emotional connection. So hooking up has always been a weird thing for me. It's always been a weird concept because I don't feel that way that other people feel. But that being said, even though I can't feel that sexual attraction, I can feel romantic attraction towards someone, which is something completely different altogether. Now I just want to clarify the things that I feel that made me realize that I was demisexual. I don't put as much importance on sex as other people do. Again, hooking up has never been a thing that I've been interested in, nor is it a thing that I really understand. The thought of cheating makes no sense to me because I would only be able to find my partner sexually attractive. So anytime anybody's ever brought up cheating on a partner, I've always been like, how? Why? I don't understand. The idea of finding someone else other than your partner attractive is weird to me. Finding someone else so attractive that you can't, that it justifies cheating on your partner, that makes no sense to me. And I know that's not a thing that only demisexuals feel, but the fact is that I wouldn't be able to find anybody else attractive if I had created that emotional bond with my partner. One thing that I've always said, and the way that I've explained it to people, is that I find people more aesthetically pleasing than I do sexually pleasing. What I mean by that is that I can view somebody as attractive. I can look at somebody and be like, oh, you're aesthetically pleasing, you're nice on the eyes, you're nice to look at. Do I want to act on that? Not so much. I don't view them as, oh, you're attractive, I need to have sex with you now. It's more of a, you're attractive, congratulations on your face. When it comes to romance as well, because there are two aspects to sexuality, if you want to call it that. So you have your actual sexual orientation, and then you have your romantic orientation. So it gets a little complicated, as you can tell. In terms of romance, I also identify as demi-romantic. You don't have to be demisexual to be demi-romantic, and you don't have to be demi-romantic in order to be demisexual. There are two separate entities, just two different facets of who I am. Demi-romantic means that I rarely find people romantically attractive. So demi-romantic people experience romantic attraction but are not drawn to romance and do not actively seek it out. So I can find them romantically attractive. So that just means I would be interested in forming a romantic relationship with them, but I don't actively seek it out. And the idea of dating is a weird one to me. Society tends to push romance onto you from a very young age, talking about the importance of dating and forming relationships with the opposite sex or the same sex. Just romance in general is pushed on us as a society, and I think I've always kind of felt like I needed to be in a relationship, but I've never really been drawn to one or felt the need to actually have one. Now, the question that I'm sure everybody is wondering, especially the people who are friends with me on Facebook and saw that post about me being a part of the LGBTQ community, boys or girls? Boys or girls, Sam? Boys or girls? I typically sway more towards males than I do females. However, I have had instances where I have found a girl attractive, not sexually, but romantically. Same with boys. I've found boys more romantically attractive. I have found a few men sexually attractive, but that's rare. And the reason that I can't really significantly answer boys or girls is I have to form that emotional connection with someone in order to find them attractive. So it I've never formed that type of emotional connection with someone enough for me to find them attractive, except for one person who will remain nameless. If a girl were to enter my life and I ended up forming that emotional connection with her and finding her physically attractive and sexually attractive, it wouldn't be a problem with me. I wouldn't mind. But if the same were to happen with a guy, that also wouldn't be a problem. Since I don't focus as much on romantic love and I don't focus much on, sexual attraction because I don't feel it most of the time, I end up focusing on something a little bit more overarching, and it's just a love for all human beings. That explains a few things about me. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything about demisexuality or anything at all, feel free to comment down below and I will maybe do another video. Or I will just answer them because why not? I really felt the need to make this video because, again, demisexuality is something that is very misunderstood, and it's also something that not a lot of people know about yet. And maybe somebody that hasn't found their sexuality, like what sexuality they identify as yet, will watch this video and realize, hey, that's me. I feel you. We're in this together, guys. Peace, love, and happiness to all of you, and I hope you have an amazing day.